Let me tell you something right now. You were not created to crumble. You were not made to flinch every time life throws a jab. You were not born to bow to distractions, doubts, or detours. You were designed with divine purpose, packed with power, and destined for victory. You were not created to crumble. You were designed for victory. That's not a cliché. That's a core truth you've got to plant deep in your spirit. The way you were wired, the potential placed inside of you, the breath in your lungs. It's not accidental. You're not here to barely make it. You're not here to survive the day. You are here to dominate, to thrive, to build, to influence, and to rise in the face of adversity. The reason life hits you so hard isn't because you're weak. It's because you're strong enough to handle what others can't. There is something on your life that demands pressure. You weren't built ordinary. That's why ordinary things don't satisfy you, and ordinary responses don't work for you. There's a divine power resting in you, whether you've fully tapped into it or not. That power is unshakable. It's immovable, but the only way to access it is by refusing to let every storm shake you. That's the difference between average and extraordinary. Most people react to life, but the great ones respond with intentionality. Life throws things at everyone, but what makes you uncommon is how you stand when it happens. You were not made to bow to fear. You were not designed to be ruled by anxiety. You were created to rule over it. Every time something tries to shake your peace, it's a test to see if you're going to default to fear or lean into faith. You are not your emotions. You have emotions, but you are more than them. You can feel angry and still choose discipline. You can feel afraid and still choose courage. The problem is we've been conditioned to let every feeling dictate our action. But you were created to lead your feelings, not be led by them. When you understand that your design is victory, your mindset starts shifting. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" And you start asking, "What is this building in me?" The most victorious people are not those who have had the easiest lives. They're the ones who refused to quit, refused to complain, and refused to be moved. Some of the most painful moments you've lived through were not meant to break you. They were meant to reveal you. You wouldn't even know how strong you were until life put weight on your shoulders, and look at you. You're still standing. You've survived things that would have crushed other people. You've come through seasons of silence, betrayal, confusion, and fear. And yet, here you are, breathing, dreaming, and daring to believe again. That's not weakness. That's not luck. That's power. That's purpose. You have something greater inside of you than anything that can come against you. People will try to shake you. Life will try to distract you. Circumstances will try to define you. But nothing outside of you has the authority to control the calling inside of you. You were born with destiny in your DNA. So when the noise gets loud, learn to get quiet within. When critics speak, let your character answer. When pressure rises, ort your Creator and peace his rise see aviation higher. That's how you stay in position. That's how you protect your power. Being unbothered is not apathy, it's spiritual and emotional maturity. It means you've graduated from reacting to everything and finally learned to walk with focus, no matter what's flying around you. There is a next level waiting for you, and it doesn't belong to the easily distracted. It doesn't belong to the emotionally fragile. It belongs to the ones who have trained themselves to be stable, to be rooted, to be unshaken. That doesn't mean you won't feel pain. It means pain won't own you. It doesn't mean people won't misunderstand you. It means their misunderstanding won't derail your mission. That level of strength only comes when you embrace who you truly are, not what the world says you are, not what your past says you are, but what your Creator planted in you from the beginning. A conqueror, a builder, a light. When you finally understand this, you stop lowering yourself to match the chaos around you. You stop fighting small battles with small minds. You stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Why? Because you know where you're going, and when you know your direction, detours don't intimidate you. Distractions don't control you. You're not here to be tossed around by emotions, opinions, or circumstances. You're here to lead. You're here to rise. You're here to fulfill a purpose that's bigger than the moment you're in. Every challenge you faced has been a part of your training. Every delay was a setup for discipline. Every rejection was a redirection, and all of it has been preparing you to walk like someone who is not easily moved. Someone who doesn't chase attention, but commands respect. Someone who carries calm in the middle of chaos. Someone who's learned that true strength isn't about being loud. It's about being consistent. You were not created to crumble. You were designed for victory. Every fiber of your being was engineered to overcome. So walk like it. Think like it, and above all, train yourself to be unbothered. Your future is not tied to your frustration. What's weighing you down right now? The disappointment, the delays, the confusion. It's not the end of your story. Too often we let a temporary emotion define a permanent decision. We get frustrated and we think it means we've failed. But frustration is not a signal to quit. It's a signal to grow. It's pressure pointing you toward a pivot. What you're feeling is real, but it's not final. Just because your plans didn't go the way you thought they would doesn't mean your purpose has changed. The vision is still valid. The path just might be different. Frustration is a liar if you listen too long. It will convince you that progress isn't happening when, in reality, something deeper is being built beneath the surface. The roots grow in silence, the foundation forms before the structure ever rises, but in the waiting, in the stillness, in the silent work, frustration creeps in and whispers lies. It says you're stuck. It says you're behind. It says nothing is working. And if you don't train your mind to separate feeling from fact, you'll sabotage the very thing that's trying to bless you. You'll abort the process because you mistook pressure for punishment. Your destiny is bigger than your emotional moment. You weren't called to stop at frustration. You weren't designed to live in disappointment. You were created to rise through the pressure, not retreat from it. That frustration you feel right now, it's not your enemy. It's your trainer. It's sharpening your focus. It's challenging your expectations. It's demanding that you grow. If you don't learn how to sit in frustration without folding, you'll never unlock the discipline required to reach your next level. Victory doesn't belong to the most talented. It belongs to the most focused. There's something sacred about being able to feel the weight of disappointment and still keep moving. There's power in not being swayed by the storm. Frustration will come, but so will breakthrough. The question is, who are you becoming while you wait? Who are you training yourself to be when it's hard, when it's heavy, when it doesn't make sense? The world is filled with people who quit because they didn't like the process. But champions are different. They don't just endure the process. They are forged in it. They understand that their future isn't delayed. It's being developed. You've got to remind yourself that you're not wasting time. You're being prepared. Every no is strengthening your yes. Every locked door is refining your direction. The frustration is simply God's way of burning off what won't serve you at the next level. It's not that your future is far away. It's that the version of you that can handle it is still under construction. And frustration is the fire that reveals what still needs to be cut away, not to punish you, but to position you. Your future requires more of you, not less, and if you can endure the frustration without losing faith, you'll walk into a future that was always yours. Most people miss their moment because they want convenience, not character. They want ease, not endurance. But frustration is the price of refinement. It pulls out the distractions. It confronts the ego. It tears away the illusions. And if you're bold enough to stay present through it, you'll come out not only stronger, but clearer. Clear on your purpose, clear on your identity, clear on your assignment. That clarity is more valuable than a quick win. Because once you're clear, you stop being moved by what doesn't matter. And when you stop being moved by what doesn't matter, you start accelerating toward what does. Think about it. How many times has frustration led you to almost give up on something that was about to break open? How many moments have you walked away from, not because they weren't for you, but because you weren't patient enough to wait? The truth is, the door was opening, you just didn't stay long enough to walk through it. Your future isn't hiding from you. It's waiting on you to grow past the frustration. It's waiting on you to stop living by sight and start living by vision. To stop being distracted by what's hard and start being driven by what's holy. There's something sacred about learning how to hold your peace while everything inside of you wants to panic. So don't misinterpret the frustration. Don't assume the delay means denial. Don't let the discomfort convince you that you're off track. You are being refined, you are being strengthened, you are being shaped into someone who can carry more. Your future is not tied to your frustration. It's tied to your faith, your discipline, and your ability to keep moving even when it's not easy. You are not your emotions. You have emotions, but they do not define you. They are signals, not commands. You can feel anger, but that doesn't mean you need to lash out. You can feel fear, but it doesn't mean you need to retreat. Emotions are temporary visitors, not permanent residents. They knock on the door of your mind, but it's your choice whether to let them in and give them control. The problem is, most people don't know the difference. They confuse feeling something with being something. But just because you feel broken doesn't mean you are broken. Just because you feel tired doesn't mean you're done. You can feel a thing and still choose something greater. There's power in being able to feel deeply and still lead your life wisely. The most dangerous lie you can believe is that your emotions are in charge. They are not. You were created to rule, not to be ruled. You were designed to lead, not to be led by whatever your mood dictates. Emotions are real, but they are not reliable guides. If you follow them blindly, they will have you quitting on your purpose one day and chasing validation the next. You'll be stuck in cycles, starting things, stopping things, sabotaging things, because your decisions are rooted in how you feel, not in who you are. You've got to stop handing your identity over to a temporary emotion. You're not sadness. You're not rage. You're not anxiety. You are a soul with power, with intention, and with purpose. But if you never step back and separate the truth of who you are from the feeling of the moment, you'll end up building your life on a shaky foundation. You'll trust the storm instead of trusting your strength. You'll believe the panic instead of standing on your peace. There is a deeper part of you that doesn't shift when the feelings do, and that's the part that needs to take the lead. Self-control is not just about restraint, it's about rulership. It's about saying, yes, I feel this, but I'm choosing differently. That's where your power lies. That's where transformation happens. Anyone can act out when they're angry. Anyone can quit when they're discouraged. But it takes strength to feel the storm and still stand in it. It takes maturity to acknowledge the emotion but not let it drive the car. Your life doesn't have to be an emotional roller coaster. It can be grounded. It can be steady. but only when you understand that your emotions are indicators, not dictators. There will be days when your feelings scream louder than your faith. There will be moments when fear grips your chest and frustration fogs your mind. But even then, you have the ability to choose. You can feel the fear and still walk forward. You can feel the frustration and still act with wisdom. You can cry and still build. You can shake and still show up. That's the difference between living by emotion and living by decision. One is reactive, the other is intentional. One is scattered, the other is stable. Your future won't wait for you to feel perfect. It will respond when you choose with power. You must stop waiting for the feeling to be right and start developing the discipline to do what's right, regardless of how it feels. The emotional world is inconsistent. It rises and falls with the smallest change, but your calling, your purpose, your assignment, they are anchored. They don't sway with the mood of the day. When you wake up tired, they are still there. When you're overwhelmed, they don't vanish. That's why it's so important to build your actions on truth, not just on emotion, because emotions can lie. They can be influenced by stress, by fear, by others' opinions, but truth will never fail you. Imagine what your life would look like if you stopped being driven by emotional weather and started moving from a place of inner clarity. That clarity doesn't come from ignoring your emotions. It comes from recognizing them and choosing how to respond. You get to observe what you feel without bowing to it. You get to name the emotion without letting it name you. You get to rise above the wave without pretending it isn't there. That is emotional mastery, not the absence of feeling, but the refusal to let feelings become your master. This level of growth takes intentional practice. It takes quiet moments of honesty with yourself. It takes being willing to pause before you respond, to breathe before you speak, to reflect before you react. And each time you do, you build strength, you build stamina, you build the kind of resilience that can't be shaken by temporary feelings. Because you know, deep in your soul, that you are not your emotions. You were never meant to be defined by what passes through you. You were meant to lead your life with vision, with clarity, and with courage, regardless of what you feel. You don't get stronger by avoiding the weight. You get stronger by lifting it. Strength is not built in comfort. Growth doesn't happen in avoidance. Too many people want power without pressure, results without resistance. But it doesn't work that way. Every ounce of real strength you see in someone was earned through struggle, through stretching, through situations that demanded more of them than they thought they had. It's not the absence of difficulty that makes you strong. It's the decision to engage with the difficulty, to carry what feels heavy, to stand up when it would be easier to sit down. We live in a world that tells us to avoid pain at all costs, to take the easy road, to numb the discomfort. But ease has never produced excellence. If you avoid every burden, you'll never build the muscle that's required to carry your blessing. What you refuse to face today becomes the limit that holds you tomorrow. That weight you keep trying to escape. That hard conversation, that risk, that discipline you keep putting off. It's the very thing that's designed to shape you into who you were meant to be. Strength is not found in the avoidance of the load, but in the willingness to lift it again and again until it no longer breaks you. Every strong person you admire has a history with struggle. Behind their confidence is a trail of battles. Behind their clarity is a mountain of confusion they had to fight through. They weren't born unshakable. They became unshakable through pressure. They learned to stop running from the weight and start running toward it. They stopped asking for things to be lighter and started training to become stronger. That's where real transformation begins, not when you beg life to be easier, but when you rise up and become the kind of person who can handle what life throws at you. Avoidance gives temporary relief but leaves you permanently weak. It seduces you with comfort but robs you of your capacity. Every time you step away from what challenges you, you shrink. You lose ground. You miss the opportunity to grow into the person your future requires. But when you choose to lean in, when you embrace the pain, when you show up anyway, when you do what's hard even when no one's watching, you are shaping a version of yourself that nothing and no one can take from you. That's not just strength. That's character. That's grit. That's greatness in the making. You were not created to break under pressure. You were designed to rise under it. The weight you feel right now isn't there to destroy you. It's there to develop you. It's a divine resistance training, calling out the leader in you, the warrior in you, the visionary in you. Stop praying for the burden to be removed and start asking for the strength to carry it. You won't always feel ready. You won't always feel strong. But if you show up consistently and lift what you can today, you'll be shocked by how much more you can carry tomorrow. Growth is a process, and strength is earned rep by rep. Don't envy someone's strength if you're unwilling to carry their struggle. Everyone wants the reward, but few want the responsibility. You want the results, but are you willing to carry the routine? You want the influence, but can you handle the isolation that sometimes comes with it? You want the freedom, but will you endure the discipline it demands? Life is a weight room. You get out what you put in. If you avoid the heavy things, you stay small. But if you take on the hard things, if you embrace the challenge and lean into the discomfort, you'll grow into someone you never imagined you could become. And the beautiful thing is, the more you lift, the more natural it becomes. What once felt impossible starts to feel familiar. What once broke you begins to build you. The weight doesn't change, but you do. Your back gets stronger. Your legs get steadier. Your heart gets braver. And before long, the thing you once prayed to escape becomes the very thing that empowered you. That's the reward of resistance. It teaches you what you're really made of. It strips away the excuses, the self-pity, the fear, and replaces them with endurance, resilience, and fire. Strength isn't loud. It's not flashy. It's consistent. It's rooted. It's built in the quiet moments when you show up, not because you feel like it, but because you know who you're becoming demands it. The weight is not your enemy. The pressure is not punishment. It's preparation. Every rep, every step, every hard thing you choose to face instead of flee, it's building you. It's stretching your capacity. It's making room for the greatness that's been locked inside of you all along. Some people lose not because they lacked talent, but because they lacked emotional control. You can have all the skill, all the vision, all the opportunity, but if your emotions run your decisions, you'll sabotage the very doors you prayed for. You can't expect to walk into destiny with a reactive spirit. You can't keep giving your peace away every time someone disappoints you. You've got to decide who you are before the chaos shows up, or the chaos will decide it for you. You've got to train your mind to stay steady when everything else is shaking, because the world will not slow down for your healing. And the people who win long-term are not always the loudest or the most emotional. They are the most grounded. You've got to learn how to feel something and not act on it immediately. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. There's a kind of maturity that comes from not saying what you're thinking the moment you feel it. There's power in choosing stillness when your flesh wants to scream. It's easy to clap back, easy to defend yourself, easy to explode, but easy never builds excellence. It takes strength to keep your peace. It takes power to respond instead of react. It takes discipline to walk away without needing to prove your point. And sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is nothing at all, to let your silence speak instead of your outrage. Life will test you with people who misunderstand you, mislabel you, and misrepresent you. You will be tempted to explain yourself, to chase clarity, to fight back, but that's where training comes in. You've got to know when to speak and when to be silent, when to engage and when to walk away, when to defend your position and when to let your results do the talking. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't have to let someone else's immaturity drag you out of your character. Because the moment you step out of your peace to prove something to someone who doesn't even value it, you've already lost your power. You are not here to be reactive, you are here to be effective. That means mastering your emotions, not denying them, but ruling over them. That means recognizing when your emotions are justified but not beneficial. You might be right and still ruin your witness if you move too fast. You might be justified in your frustration but disqualified by your reaction. Greatness is not just about what you achieve, but how you carry yourself while you're achieving it. Your posture matters. Your presence matters. And there is a strength in quiet confidence that no amount of noise can match. People often think emotional strength means not feeling anything. That's wrong. True strength is feeling everything, but staying rooted anyway. It's crying and still showing up. It's being disappointed, but not becoming bitter. It's being provoked, but choosing peace. Strength is not coldness, it's composure, and composure isn't natural, it's trained. It's built in the small decisions. When you take a deep breath instead of shouting, when you pray instead of reacting, when you pause long enough to remember who you are before you respond like who you used to be. You've got to stop letting temporary emotions rewrite permanent chapters. You've come too far to be thrown off by small moments. Think about how much you've endured just to be here. Think about the battles you've fought, the prayers you've cried, the nights you didn't think you'd make it. Why give that all away for a moment of anger, or an insecure comment from someone who doesn't even matter in the bigger picture of your destiny? You've got to elevate above it, not because you're better than them, but because you're bigger than the moment. Because your calling demands it, because your next level requires it. Every time you choose composure over chaos, you are telling your future that you're ready. You are signaling to your destiny that you can be trusted with more, not just more success, but more responsibility, more leadership, more influence. And the higher you go, the more control you'll need, because at the top, the air gets thinner and the pressure gets heavier. And you can't afford to be swayed by every emotion, every comment, every storm. You've got to lead yourself first, or nothing else you lead will be sustainable. Emotional discipline is not optional, it's foundational, and this is the kind of strength that no one can give you. You can read every book, attend every seminar, follow every coach, but at the end of the day, you have to train your inner world. You have to choose it when no one sees. You have to practice it in private before it shows up in public. You have to build your calm in the quiet moments so that when life gets loud, your peace holds. That's how you become unbothered, not by avoiding emotion, but by learning to rise above it, rule over it, and never let it dictate the pace of your destiny. There will always be something trying to steal your peace, an unexpected delay, a cruel word, a failed plan, a misunderstanding, a personal attack. Life does not come with padded corners or soft landings. It will press you, provoke you, and put pressure on your spirit. And if you haven't trained your mind to be still in the storm, you'll find yourself drowning in situations that were never meant to sink you. You'll misinterpret discomfort as danger and frustration as failure, but not everything that disturbs your comfort deserves your energy. The moment you learn to pause instead of panic, to breathe instead of break, you begin stepping into a different kind of power. Being unbothered doesn't mean you don't care. It means you've learned to care strategically. You've learned that not everything deserves a reaction, not every offense requires a response, and not every problem demands your presence. You are not obligated to carry chaos just because it shows up. Some situations are simply tests to see if you'll give away your power for the price of a petty victory. When you're truly focused on growth, peace becomes your standard. And anything that costs you that peace becomes too expensive, no matter how justified the emotional response might feel in the moment. When you operate from a reactive place, you're not leading, you're leaking. Your energy spills into places that drain you instead of build you. You hand over your emotional authority to people who never deserved it in the first place. The real challenge is not how to avoid problems, but how to remain rooted while problems surround you. It's not about escaping emotion, it's about channeling it. The person who stays centered while others fall apart doesn't do it because they feel nothing. They do it because they've trained their inner world to stay calm even when the outside world is on fire. You must understand the difference between responding from peace and reacting from pain. Reaction is immediate, impulsive, and almost always ego-driven. But a response comes from alignment, from vision, from maturity. When you react, you often regret, but when you respond, you retain your power. You choose what to give energy to and what to let pass. That's not detachment, it's discernment. Emotional mastery is not about ignoring how you feel. It's about being aware enough to know that your emotions are information, not instruction. You feel them, acknowledge them, and then decide what action aligns with your higher self. The world will never stop giving you opportunities to be offended, anxious, or angry. People will misunderstand you. Circumstances will disappoint you. But if your peace is always at the mercy of outside conditions, you'll live your life like a leaf in the wind, tossed, turned, and unsettled. You were never meant to live like that. There is a part of you that is deeper than frustration, stronger than fear, and more stable than your most intense emotion. That's the part of you that must lead. That's the part that sees beyond the moment, that knows storms pass, that understands feelings fluctuate, but character must stay rooted. You cannot move forward in life if every offense makes you spiral. You cannot lead if every criticism causes you to shrink. There has to be a version of you that is steady in conflict, focused under pressure, and calm in chaos. You don't get there by chance. You get there by choosing not to feed your triggers, not to nurture your old patterns, not to rehearse every insult. You get there by practicing pause, by choosing peace as your first instinct instead of your last resort. You get there by honoring your emotions without becoming enslaved by them. That's where maturity lives, in the gap between what you feel and what you choose. Letting go of what bothers you is not weakness, it's wisdom. It takes far more strength to be calm than to be loud, far more courage to be silent than to lash out. There's a kind of quiet strength that cannot be moved, a kind of stillness that confuses people who expect chaos. When you no longer need to prove anything to anyone, when you stop taking every attack personally, when you choose to protect your energy instead of wasting it, you begin to experience the freedom of emotional mastery. You begin to live above the drama instead of being consumed by it. This is not about becoming numb, it's about becoming noble. It's about refusing to let every inconvenience ruin your day, every rude comment derail your focus, every wave of emotion throw you off course. Your life is too valuable to be at the mercy of every trigger. Your time is too precious to be spent explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. And your vision is too important to be blurred by the fog of frustration. You are not here to be shaken by every situation. You are here to grow into the kind of person who can weather anything without losing who they are.